Okay, hello everyone. Let's talk today about listening part 2. In listening part 2, you will be listening a monologue of a person who is introducing the newcomers or new volunteers about their work, about their place, or something like that. So here you might have two different types of questions because the listening part 2 is divided into two parts. In the first part, we have 5 questions. So in this case, we are having the multiple choice questions. Then, as usual, right, you will have about 30 seconds to prepare for the listening. So what do we do in these 30 seconds? First of all, one of the main issues here, one of the main problems here is to you see the question, right? The question itself. So the question is too long. So in order to prepare, we have to find that one or two keywords that show us what should we prepare ourselves to be listening to. So here, for example, question number 11, right? So during the visit to Malat in France, members especially enjoyed. So here we have two keywords. One of them is enjoyed. They really liked something, and especially. That means they liked it like in a different way. So they liked it specially, or it was the most or the best of their trip. Okay, so and then after we have found that keywords in the question, we should look at the answers. So all 3 answers will be mentioned, but for each answer they will have some comments. So first of all, let's look at the answers. We have to also shorten the answers to 1 or 2 words in order to differentiate between them, right? So answer A is theme park, so they went to a park. B is about a river trip, they went to a river. And C is about cheese factory, so they went to a factory. And then we will have a comment for each activity. So when they are talking, like when they are giving the comment to each of these answers, there will be some words that indicate that this is the correct answer or this is the incorrect answer. So we will be waiting for something that they really liked. So something similar to this. For example, in this case, the answer A, they will be talking about that they wanted to go to a park, but it was cancelled. It had to be cancelled. So this is cancelled. So this is not the correct answer. Then they went to a factory. About the factory, they will say that they saw something. They just went there. And there wasn't anything special. The speaker doesn't say that they really liked it. But about the river trip, they say that really enjoyed it. Like, not enjoyed, that they had a great time. Right? They had a great time. And also, it will say that it was a highlight of their trip. It was a really highlight. So these 2 words, great time and highlight, shows us that the answer is B. Okay, the answer C is not the correct answer because there isn't anything that, like, they won't say that it was something that they really liked. And the same goes about the other answers. So let's look other answers. Question number 12. What will happen in Stanthorpe to mark the 25th anniversary of Twin Industries? So what will happen in Stanthorpe? The main question is what will happen in this city. So question A, answer A, the tree will be planted. So a tree, a garden seat, and a footbridge. That's all we need. Then we will be listening to comments. So comments might be something like that. So for example, they wanted to plant a tree, or in other city, so in a different city. For example, in France, they planted a tree. It was not in Stanthorpe, but a different city. That's why this is not the answer. A garden seat, for example, a garden seat, they wanted to do the garden seat, but there wasn't enough money. Not enough money. So that's why this is not the answer. And footbridge, so they finally decided to do this. So they decided to build a footbridge, for example. Right? So I'm just saying as an example, this is not the actual listening. Okay, so we will be listening to the comments. Then question number 13. Which event raised most funds? So which event had most funds? That means it raised most money. So it has three variants. First activity is film, second is pancake, and the next one is cookery. They will say all about these three answers, but the comments are very important. For example, about the film show, they might say that it had limited seats. So it had limited seats. So if it's limited, then it's not the answer. It has the max number. It won't have the most number of money. Okay, so this is not the answer. Pancake evening. For example, pancake evening, they might say something like it made a record in raising the money. It was record money, for example. They would say something like that. So the word record means the most fund, the biggest fund, right? So this might be the answer. And then the cookery show, they might say that the cookery show was also popular, but it wasn't as popular as, for example, the pancake evening. So it was close to that, but it didn't make a record. So that's why this is not the answer. Number 14, for the first evening with the French visitors, host films are advised to. So what are they advised to do in the first evening? Very easy. To do some walk around the town, go to a restaurant, or to eat at home. So, for example, I said, right? So I've mentioned before that they will say all three answers, but this is not always so. Sometimes they might not even mention other answers. They might say only about one. For example, so you don't have to go out. You don't have to eat out. So eat out is not the answer. They might say, so they will be very tired, so it's better if you do something at home or to have dinner in the house. In house. So this is the answer. Okay, so on Saturday evening, what will happen on Saturday evening? There will be a concert, there will be a match, there will be a competition. So they will say that something will happen in a football stadium. Football stadium. So this is the venue. This is the place where it happens. But it's not the event itself. It's just the place where it will happen. And there will be a band, for example, and they will be performing some songs and so on. So songs and a band shows that there will be a concert. Okay, so from this word we understand that the answer is concert. That's all. Okay, and other types of questions that you might encounter, that you might meet, is this one, where there's a map and the speaker will say where something is located. So we have here the locations itself. We don't have to worry about the locations because they will be in a perfect order. For example, the first they will talk about farm shop, then number 17, then 18, then 19, and so on. So it will be in a perfect order. So that's why we don't have to worry about it. What should we prepare ourselves for? Is that about the places or about the map itself? So we can see in the map, we can see like basic directions. For example, up, down, left, right. Okay, but we see that here we have a compass that shows the sides, right? North, south, east, west. It shows that the upper side is the north side, the bottom side is the south, on the right is the east, on the left is the west. This is important. They might say top, bottom, or they might say north, south. So we have to have it in mind. Also, what do we see here? We see some trees here. So instead of saying, they might say trees, they might say wood, or they might say forest. Okay, so if you hear this word, so we have like two locations here. Also, we have also two things that are obvious are lake. So there's a big lake or large lake, and a small lake. Okay, then for example, what else do we have? We have some shapes. For example, this shape is a rectangular shape. Then what do we have to remember? Every direction that starts, for example, they will say where the farm shop is. They will start from the car park. So they will say something like, so you go from the car park to the left, and then you take the west side, right? This one road, and then you go to the left, and so on. So we found the farm shop. Then they will say about disabled entry. So disabled entry again will start from the car park. So every place will start from the car park. It won't start at a random place. It will start from one place. And usually it is on the bottom, and usually it is the place where like the guests are coming. So for example, when you come to a hotel, you can be met at a reception, at an entrance, main entrance, or car park. So in this case, this is the car park. So every direction will start from a car park. Also, another type of question that you might meet in a part 2. So let's look at them. So again, it's a test 2. The same book. We have the same logic here. Multiple choice questions. I have described that. Also, we have 2 correct answers. So when we have 2 correct, so we have to find 2 correct answers out of 5. Here, what do we have to know? So what do we do? First thing is we shorten the answers, A, B, C, D. We shorten the answer to 1 or 2 words. For example, the residential course developed his leadership skills. So leadership skills were developed in the residential course. Residential course, leadership skills. Training, ropes and knots were brief. It was brief. It was short. Exercise have built up his mental stress. So this training exercise helped him to develop his mental health, mental strength. Casualty care activities. So if you don't know what casualty care activities are, like it doesn't matter. You just hear this word, okay? Then particularly challenging. It was very difficult. Wave tank activities, space for survival techniques. So they might say something connected with the survival, like death and life situation, or something like, for example, extreme situation, or something like dangerous situation. So something like connected with the word survival. Okay, so you might hear something. So what you have to remember, these answers A, B, C, D, E will not be mentioned in an order. It won't be in order. It will be mentioned randomly. For example, the first might say C, then A's and E's and D's and B. Like it can be in a different way. So for the next 2 questions, for the next 5 answers, right? You have to do the same. You have to, first you read the question, 2 things. Does David find most motivating? So what motivates him most? So we have to be listening to the comment to each of these answers, saying something about motivation, like it gives me an energy, it makes me wake up in the morning, I really love this work because of, or I love something in the work. He should say something like that. So answers, working as a part of team, so like a team, experience in working with, so working in winter, being thanked, having others say thank you, the fact that keeps him fit, that it keeps him in a shape, chance to develop new equipment, so he has a chance to develop new equipment. That's all, and we are ready. So what gives him the motivation to work in this company? And you have to listen to each of these. Okay, so this is part 2, and then I will explain something about part 3. So, thank you for listening. See you in the next lesson. Goodbye.